have welcome for something that's been a long time coming for our community, for the Kerrville community. We've got a number of folks here today, and thank you for joining us and being here to formally dedicate this school to the children of our community for many decades to come. My name is Althaus, I'm the superintendent of Kerrville ISD, and I'd like to open our ceremony today by introducing some distinguished guests. I'll start with our school board president. This is Kerrville ISD School Board President Rolinda Schmidt. School Board Vice President Jack Stevens. School Board Secretary Mike Tackett. School Board Member Curtis Fenley. Board Member Andrew Hayes. Board Member Greg Peschel. And Board Member Dr. David Strauss. I'd also like to recognize we have a number of elected officials here, and quite a few, so I would just ask, if you were an elected official in our community, would you please stand and be recognized? There's another group that we may have some representatives here that I would like to recognize now and a little bit later as well. This building coming to fruition for our community started with a dream and an idea, and our school board was certainly a part of that. But it was also a group of citizens that came together, staff members and community members, that wanted to figure out what were the facilities needs for Kerrville ISD and what should we do in the way of long-range facilities planning. It's actually two different committees that overlapped, but it was first the Long-Range Facilities Planning Committee, and next the Community Facility Advisories Committee. So two groups that came together over about a year to put together a bond program to take to the voters in Kerrville. I would just ask if you were on the Long-Range Planning Committee and or the Community Facilities Advisory Committee, would you please stand and be recognized? A couple other folks that I would like to recognize. There was an overlap between a couple of different election cycles, and so we have other board members whose names are on the plaque out front. And one in particular that's with us, I'd like to recognize Pat Friedel, former board member for Kerrville ISD. Another couple of folks from the planning committees. Mike Tackett was one of our co-chairs, who's a board member, and also Joe Herring, former mayor of Kerrville, was one of our co-chairs on the facilities planning committee. So I'd like to say thank you to you guys as well. Okay, at this time we'll formally begin our program with an invocation and a pledge of allegiance. So I'll invite our Honorable Mayor Bill Blackburn and Jack Stevens to the podium.
I'd like to ask you if you would to please bow in prayer. Lord God Almighty, we are here to dedicate this beautiful school. May it always be a welcoming and safe place of learning and exploration. For the students, we pray that the Hal Peterson Middle School will be a bridge to more learning and a growing and strong sense of themselves and their possibilities. For the teachers and other instructional staff, may this school inspire them to great efforts for each student, and may this be a place of both challenges and the support of the staff and of the parents. For the administration, give them great wisdom in all of their decisions, and may the inevitable problems be solved in light of the goals of the Hal Peterson Middle School and the Kerrville Independent School District. As a Christian minister, I pray this prayer in the name of Christ.
please stand and join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag
I'm Tana Althaus. I'm the proud principal of Hal Peterson Middle School. And I want to take a moment and thank you, the community members, for giving such an amazing gift to our students of Kerrville. The students that currently attend this school and the students that will attend this school for decades to come. I stood out at the groundbreaking a few years ago as an administrator in the district, never knowing that this would be such a close part of my school. And then life shifted, and I became the principal of Hal Peterson. I watched these walls go up, and I thought often, what does this mean to kids? What will this look like for kids? What story will they have? We thought often about, oh, what's going to happen on the learning stairs with kids? What's it going to look like when the kids are on the literacy deck? What's it going to look like when it's full in the cafeteria? We would bring adults through constantly, and they had lots of questions. They would see a lot of glass. How is that going to work for kids? Are the kids going to be able to concentrate? As we started to bring the kids in on tours, I saw something amazing happen. Our kids stepped in, and you could tell their minds were ready for this. They got going, they looked around, they would get closer and closer to us on tours. I remember being upstairs once, and a little boy looked at me, and he said, Miss Althaus, my grades are going to be better in this school than they've ever been in any other. We have students in a little bit that if you stay, will give you tours of the school and tell you about their experience. But I'm only going to distill one thing that I heard from them the other day, something I never expected to hear. They said, we're just so much more relaxed in here because it's so open and we can see everyone. We don't feel like we're caught in a little classroom. We just relax and it's easier to learn. Y'all have given us a school for the future. We're excited to be pioneering that future. We move walls, we change locations, and we just say, this is the gift that y'all have given us. How can we make it the best for kids? I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this for the students of KISD. And now, it is my special privilege to introduce someone to represent our student voices, Anthony Sanchez, also known as the mayor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anthony Sanchez, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, the community, for giving me and my fellow classmates this amazing and beautiful school. This new campus is equipped with state-of-the-art technology and infrastructure. This has given us a better and safer opportunity to learn and to grow, not only for me and my classmates, but for many generations to come. This school has given a more practical and suitable learning environment for me and my fellow students. In my eyes, this school makes me feel more comfortable by the setup. I feel more comfortable by the more modern look, if you look at it. The computers make sure that we don't lose assignments, and we can email teachers and be in touch with them at any time. This has made me feel more comfortable with my grades. In years to come, I will look back on my 8th grade year and remember all the memories I created with my classmates, teachers, and coaches, whether it be in the hallways, or in the classrooms, or on the football field. These memories I've created will continue to create, I will cherish forever. I will now hand the microphone back off to
And with that, our future feels secure, doesn't it? It warms the heart and gives us hope There are so many folks to thank. I mentioned this earlier. It really takes a community for something like this to come together. And it started as a dream in 2016 when the district had a facility study done by an architecture firm to identify a bunch of gaps in needs. That turned into a long-range facility planning committee, which I want to tell a small anecdote I found very amusing at the time and still do today. I believe it was the first meeting, but one of the first meetings that we had in the library at Newman's Elementary with the Long-Range Facilities Planning Committee. We were trying to identify, based on the facility study and some other work we were going to do on educational adequacy, what are the best projects that needed to be done. So this is before we got into whether or not we were going to build a middle school. And across the district in Kerrville ISD, Tidy High School gyms have air conditioning. So I'm going to tie in two anecdotes, but none of the other schools particularly have set gyms with air conditioning. One funny story related to that was once we decided on the bond program, I got a text from a community member. If you want 68 votes, I can get them for you right now because we're sitting in the B.T. Wilson gym and it's about 106 degrees. But I asked that first group that came together, do we want to consider air conditioning for all of the gyms in the district? Let's see a show of hands of how many people think we need to air condition the gyms in Kerrville. And about 2 hands raised out of 40 plus people. And I was blown away, and it was the sentiment, we didn't need air conditioning. I didn't need air conditioning when I was a kid. I survived, I'm okay. We didn't. But I will say one of the really awesome features about this building is it's the second big campus in the district that has air-conditioned gyms. Not just one, but 2. So pretty exciting. That group of folks from the Long Range Facilities Planning Committee and their input and their ideas of putting together a bond package turned into the Community Facilities Advisory Committee that really put priorities on what's number 1, what's number 2, what's number 3, and 4. And when we put together the bond program to take to the community, we had to make some really hard decisions. I think we had identified $115 million worth of work. We had a demographic survey that went out to the community that said they weren't going to support a bond program with $115 million worth of work. The magic number, according to the demographics survey, was $88.9 million. So that's what we took to the community. That set of projects included roofs and HVAC across the entire district. We hit reset on a bunch of roofs, almost all of them, and a number of HVAC systems across the district. The highest priority for both Long Range Facility Planning Committee and the CFAC was adding safety measures for the district. And so we have vestibules at all of our elementaries, and at B.T. Wilson, we added those and added security cameras, upgraded fire alarm systems, and changed out door locks to have interior classroom door locking systems across the district. And we got those safety projects done first. And all the while that we were doing vestibules, safety upgrades, roofs, and HVAC, we were going through design assurance and planning for this building. And so I cannot say how important it was that the community engagement in putting together that bond program, it just wouldn't have happened. We would not have passed a bond of an $88.9 million magnitude in this community if it was not for the Long Range Facility Planning Committee and the CFAC doing an incredible job of identifying the right priorities and the right needs for this district. So again, those folks that stood up earlier, I can't say enough. Thank you for your leadership, your input in this community. You made this facility and all of the other projects that we got done in that bond program happen. I love to tell the story. Over 11,000 votes were cast in a historical election in 2018 when we took this to the voters. 2 out of every 3 voters in our community voted to support this bond, 67% passing rate, which is pretty incredible because in years past there have been bond programs that didn't pass the first time around in Kerrville. So what a blessing that those 2 committees put together a great program, took that to the voters supported it, and here we sit today. pretty incredible. So just want to say thank you to those two groups. I also need to say thank you with our partners that helped us strategically put together that bond program. Huckabee Inc., I think that we have some members from the Huckabee team here, and you guys need to say a special prayer for Dan and Jeff, because I wore those guys out, in particular Dan, bless his heart, and his wife and kids, who heard my name and my voice probably much more often than they would ever like to. But planning a building of this magnitude with the number of details, they were fantastic partners. I would also say Marty Massey, another gentleman with Huckabee, that helped us bring this home, I guess is the best way I would say that, bring this project together. We also need to thank Bartlett Copp Construction Managers. They were our CM. I see a couple of folks, James Anderson, Caraway, there's too many Jameses in DC. But James Caraway is Blackburn here, Russell Harder is here, and who am I missing? Randall J, Randall, I looked at you and I looked away. Randall J. BC does an incredible job. I thought that being a teacher and being an educator was the hardest profession on the planet, and that no one in the world really realized that. I still believe that, but right after teaching and just education in general being the hardest job on the planet has to be construction. They're dealing with as many variables as we are, and as many things out of their control as we are, and we are so blessed, guys, that our community brought this building to completion just right in the middle of a pandemic. If we were trying to start this project now, I can tell you there are other districts across the state, across the nation, that are pressing pause on big projects like this because they can't get resources. The supply chain disruptions are real. And so these guys did an incredible job of getting this done for us and for our community. So thank you, Bartlett Copp, for your work. And Randall J lives about 9 miles from here, so if this didn't work out, we were going to wear him out down the street in comfort. But thank you guys so much for all of your work. Another group that I would like to thank, we had an internal construction program management team. And so Mr. Ivy, I can't say enough about the many hours that you put in, not only for Hal Peterson, but the bond program in general. It would not have happened as well as it did without Mr. Ivy's work. He is our Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services, Personnel, and we say everything else. But thank you, Mr. Ivy. Also, Armando Guinado, who had worked as a construction manager. We asked Armando to join our team. He represented Kerrville ISD as a program manager. He was absolutely amazing. Herb Gordon was another gift from God that moved to us from New Mexico. He had family members that worked for the district, but he'd been managing bond programs in Deming School District in New Mexico, and he was incredible as well. I also want to say the city of Kerrville, and it has to be a strange God thing. I don't know how else to describe it. But the young man that spoke to you just a few moments ago so well, great job, Anthony. His mom is Trina Sanchez, who's one of the many people that work for the city of Kerrville. She was instrumental in us getting our permits, helping our plans get approved, and just get this project started and rolling. So how cool is it? And this was not part of the plan. That 2 years ago, she's helping us get this thing off the ground, and her son's running for the mayor of Hal Peterson Middle School. So well done. But the city of Kerrville, the city manager, and just the city council, mayor, they were absolutely incredible in helping us. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say Chief Lackey and the fire department were fantastic in making sure that this was a safe learning environment and that we did everything right and well. And it was just an incredible community partnership to get to this point. So I have to thank all those folks. And two more groups, I have to say thank you to the Board of Trustees that supported the idea of going out and making these improvements for our schools, pushing for the bond program in this community, and then being patient with us as we executed that program over the last few years. Their leadership in our community, their hours and hours of volunteer time. If you ever tell them that your taxes paid their salary, they're going to laugh because they just volunteer hours of their time. They're not paid servants, they're volunteer servants. And they have done an incredible job of supporting the bond program. And then finally, besides Dan and his family, my wife, Shannon Faust, also heard a great deal about this bond program and this middle school in particular, and the amount of wind shear that we can have on glass and compaction percentages for the foundation a lot of details that I didn't want to know and that she didn't want to know or hear about. She heard quite a bit about. So she's not here today, but I want to, someone please tell my wife that I said thank you to her because I do want to stay married. So it has just been an incredible journey. And what a blessing that we have these fantastic kids back there, representation, and the ones you see here in the picture, breaking ground, many of which we wanted to be here today, but they had Sunday sporting events. This was a community effort for our kids. And we know that this is going to be an incredible learning environment, an extremely flexible learning environment that should be able to shift and bend with what education transitions into over the next 30, 40, or 50 years. And so we think this is going to be, already is, an incredible asset for the Kerrville community. And so we cannot be happier to formally dedicate this building to our children and to serve this community for many years to come. So at this time, I'd like to invite Rolinda Schmidt, our board president, with a formal dedication.
Thank you, Dr. Faust. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much to the staff of Hal Peterson Middle School for hosting us all here today. We are just so honored to be here. One other individual that we need to all thank and give a standing ovation for all the hours, many hours, the construction knowledge that maybe he didn't possess before this project started, but he certainly possesses now. He had 2 full-time jobs for 3 years. Dr. Mark Faust, we thank you so much. And we will all tell Shannon that you thank her. It's my honor at this time to offer a formal dedication from both the Board of Trustees and hopefully our entire community. At the end of the program, we are going to ask each one of you to actually sign the proclamation that I'm about to read. And it will be over on this table with Ms. Julie Mangold, so please, before you leave today, we would love for you to add your signature to the history of this school, and it will be displayed prominently somewhere, I'm not sure where, but Ms. Althaus will let us know. The Kerrville Independent School District Board Resolution dedicating the new Hal Peterson Middle School. Whereas the citizens of Kerrville support strong educational system as the foundation of our community, and in November of 2018 approved a bond election, which included the building of a new Hal Peterson Middle School. And whereas the Board of Trustees of Kerrville Independent School District endeavors to provide a quality education for all children in a safe, nurturing, and inspiring environment. Now therefore be it resolved by all in attendance here today that this new learning facility be dedicated to inspiring lifelong learners and productive citizens for many decades to come. And be it further resolved that this new building will be an engaging learning environment that fosters the development of graduates that are ethical, creative, and critical thinkers, goal-focused, collaborative, and effective communicators, and graduates that have grit and skills for 21st century life. And to close, we will sign this 10th day of October, 2021. Thank you all very much for being here.
Once again, I want to thank our community for giving this gift to our students. I want to thank each of y'all for being here today. I want to thank our students that gave up their precious weekend to come to school to show y'all around. And I want to thank the staff of Hal Peterson who have helped make this transition amazing and have stepped right in with a can-do attitude to keep the kids going and learning while we figured out the simple things of being in a new building. At this time, our students are more than willing to give you a tour of our beautiful campus and share what it is like to be a student at Hal Peterson. So, kids, I'm going to have y'all go towards your starting location, but not out of the cafeteria. And then if you would like a tour of, go towards your starting location. They're looking at me, they're like, right now, Miss Althaus, right now, my friends. And if you would like a tour of Hal Peterson, we would be more than happy for y'all to go along. If you will just divide up evenly between our 4 groups so that they can all share in giving you a tour. And once you get back to the cafeteria, okay, ladies, that is the perfect place to stop right there. On your marks, there you go, perfect. So we have a group here, we have a group of boys here, a group of boys here, and a group of ladies over there. And y'all can just divide up, look around the school with them, and then come back and the proclamation will be in here to sign. Thank y'all very much.